Hello and welcome to the online Assyrian speech course. My name is Dr. Madeleine Davis and I will teach you this course using my book, which is entitled Assyrian Speech Lessons Book 1 Foundation Level, which you can purchase from lulu.com. Now, as I have explained in the introduction to the reading lesson, the online reading lessons, my purpose or my aim in preparing these books and now these online courses is not financial gain. Like many other Assyrians, I believe that it's our duty to preserve and promote our language as best as we can. And as someone has put it, whose name I have forgotten, we shall not forget our language as long as words are made of breath and as long as we breathe the breath of life. And besides, this is my hobby at present, and I really enjoy learning and teaching Assyrian, and I hope that you will enjoy this course as much as I enjoy teaching it. Now, one important point which I have to point out is that English is actually my third language. So beside the fact that I speak it with a funny accent, I also make a lot of mistakes and some of my sentences may not make sense to you. So if you have any questions, any problems, please don't hesitate to send me an email and send me your questions to learn.assyrian@gmail.com. I promise to reply, but I cannot, may take me some time, so please forgive me and be patient. I'll try to do my best. When I was preparing the online reading courses, as I made a lot of mistakes, I had to take the videos again and again, but unfortunately, as I was trying to correct some of my mistakes, I made some new mistakes. So it took me a long time and a lot of energy to prepare those videos. So I have decided to relax a little bit, and if I make mistakes, I'm not going to redo the videos unless I make some catastrophic mistakes. So if you notice any important mistakes, please point them out to me. I'll be glad to redo the videos in order to correct myself. Moreover, in the book, I also find some spelling mistakes. Also, some words are repeated in the same exercises. So if you find mistakes in the book, I will be very grateful if you let me know. I gradually update the PDF and upload it on Lulu website, so I will do that. Now, another point is that I speak Assyrian with the dialect of Urmia, and although I try in this course and also in the reading course to pronounce words according to the standard pronunciation, but inadvertently I may pronounce words according to the Urmia dialect, but please keep to the standard pronunciation and don't imitate me every time that I make a mistake. Now, I hope that you know how to learn Assyrian, or that you have followed the reading course, because in my opinion, reading is a prerequisite for this course for several reasons. One is that reading is easier than speaking, because as soon as you learn the alphabet and the vowels, you can start to read even if you don't understand what you're saying. But in order to speak, even if you want to say the simplest sentences, you have to be sure of what you're going to say, and you need to have memorized the words that you want to say. So speaking requires a larger memory space in our brain than reading does. And as reading is easier, it's more encouraging to start with reading. Then you will find speaking easy as well. Because if you read out loud to yourself and you hear your own voice pronouncing the words in Assyrian, then you will be less reluctant or shy maybe to speak in Assyrian. Moreover, if you are able to read, you can read a lot of books, and your knowledge of vocabulary vocabulary will expand, and you will also become familiar with different sentence structures, so that you will be able to express your ideas better, and you will be able to participate in discussions and debates. And lastly, in order to do the exercises in this book, you need to know, you need to be able to read in order to do the exercises. So, but of course, if you are not willing to learn to read, it doesn't matter. You're welcome to follow this course. All I want to say is that you may not benefit from it as much. Now, this course teaches the present tense of the verb to be. This verb serves two functions. It is the main verb in the simple present tense, but it also serves as auxiliary in two other tenses. So it's quite an important verb. Now, the objective of this course is to enable you to introduce yourself and other people by giving name, nationality, place of birth, job or occupation, personality traits, or physical appearance. Now, there are 10 lessons, and each lesson will be divided into 4 sessions because they are long, and lesson 10 is a review or a summary of the first 9 lessons. Now, each lesson has a dialogue or monologue, and you're expected to memorize it. That will help you to start to speak fluently. Now, some people have complained to me and have said, oh, it's so boring to learn only the verb to be in an entire course. Well, first of all, let me remind you that this course was intended for 10 two-hour sessions. So if a student had only time to attend 1 session per week, it meant that after 10 weeks, that is 2 months and a half, the student would be able to express himself, introduce himself or herself and others, etc. And 10 weeks is actually not too long to learn the verb to be, because you need to learn this verb perfectly well, to master it well, in order to be able to learn the other tenses. Moreover, the verb to be is not like the verb to be in English, because in English you have only 3 words. You have am, is, and are, whereas in Assyrian you have 9 words. That's why there are 9 lessons. Besides, in this course you will learn a lot of adjectives. Now, adjectives in English are very simple. You have the same word for everyone. You say she is tall, he is tall, they are tall. Whereas in Assyrian we have single masculine, single feminine, plural masculine, and plural feminine adjectives. So that makes a lot of words, and I can assure you that by the end of this course you have learned loads and loads of words. Of course, you don't have to memorize them, but by the force of practice that we will do, you will naturally learn them. And therefore, it's like laying the foundations of a building. It always takes longer, but once the foundation is there, the walls can be built around it quickly. So all you need to be patient, really. Of course, it is possible to teach many tenses or all the verbs in just one course by using grammar. But the objective of this course is not to use any grammar. It's based on the idea that we learn our mother tongue by just hearing and repeating. Little children of 4 or 5 years old are perfectly capable of speaking their mother tongue without knowing any grammar. So we can learn a foreign language in the same way. Well, there's only one grammatical point which I would like to explain in this introduction, and that is that most words in Assyrian are derived from what we call roots. Now, roots are words that are timeless. They have no tense, but they have gender, which I suppose you have guessed correctly. It's masculine. Now, it's not I masculine or you masculine, it's actually he. Now, it's interesting to ponder on this idea, because unlike most philosophers, not most, but many philosophers and schools of thought and even psychologists who believe that the center of the universe is I, in this language, everything evolves around he. Now it's interesting to think about this he. Who is he? Who is the origin of every thought, every action, every emotion, every feeling, even every object? Is he God? Well, that's quite interesting to think about. Now, dear ladies, I'm sorry to say that just like Eve, who supposedly was cloned from Adam's rib, the feminine words are derived from masculine words. So it's quite a macho language. And except for verbs who do not have a direct subject. For example, instead of saying it happened, we say she happened. And by the way, we don't have it because all objects have gender. And some nouns are both feminine and masculine. For example, like Shimsha, the sun, which is both feminine and masculine. And there are some that are feminine in certain cases and masculine in others. For example, Ruha, which means spirit, is generally feminine unless we speak of the Holy Spirit, which is masculine. Now, most roots are comprised of 3 or 4 letters. There are 5-letter roots as well, but they are very rare. And many of the 4-letter roots are derived from the 3-letter roots. So, in actual fact, we can say that the basis of the language is the 3-letter roots. And I suppose that some other Semitic languages are the same. So in all the derivatives, you will find the letters that are in the root, and sometimes the vowels are also important. I will give you one example to see of 2 roots which are very similar. I mean, they have exactly the same letters, but different vowels. So we have the root bashel, which means he get cooked. And bashel, which means he cook. Now notice that these 2 have the same 3 letters, bet, shin, and lamat, but this one is with a skapa, whereas this one starts with a ptacha. And also notice that I don't say he gets cooked or he cooks, because these, as I said, are timeless. They don't have any tense. Now, using these, I could make different sentences, and what I wanted to say is that some people complain about vowels, and they say, oh, let's get rid of vowels, they are so complicated, etc. Now, I want to use this example to show you why vowels are important. So, we could say Busra bid bashel, which means the meat, or is it like that? I don't know. Will get cooked. And here I could say bashlana bit bashel, which means the cook will cook. Now here I can remove the vowels and there will be no ambiguity. Of course, we exclude the possibility that the cook may fall into his cauldron and get cooked, but otherwise you can understand that this means that the meat will get cooked and this one means that the cook will cook. However, we use pronouns, and since these 2 nouns are both masculine, I will use the masculine pronoun, which is au. Oops. So we have au bit bashel, au bit bashel. Now it is impossible to distinguish between these 2 sentences, and you will not get the sense that we want to express. But as soon as I place the vowels, then you will understand that he will get cooked and he will cook. The feminine of Bashlana, the feminine or the female cook, is Bashlanta. So I hope that I have convinced you that vowels are also important. In the next part of the introduction, I will give you 1 or 2 examples of roots and their derivatives so that you can see how this language is constructed. So see you later.